We welcome you for another exciting tradition that's been going on since 2018 from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. We start out on a right note with seeing a field full of players that have such great promise in the high school 8-man and 11-man football scene. So many players from across the region and even across the country who are here to participate in this morning's contest. It's the 2024 Gatlinburg All-American Rising Stars Bowl here in the Smoky Mountains. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Eli Cornett, proud to be with you in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Eli, always a privilege when we get to call these games every year. We were here for the Black Bear Brawl. Very similar how some of these players had this same field experience to start out their season. Very special for them to end their season in the same location.
Yeah, very interesting for a bunch of these guys to come back in December rather than August and be able to kind of go through the same field, same format, playing these games. But a lot of these kids know each other just from August and playing each other through the regular season. So this is a great event for these kids to really come together, make lifelong friendships, and play the sport they love.
The team in white is known as the Rising Stars Team Gold. They are led by the head coach of Bethlehem Christian and Mason Goodman. For the home team in the Navy, they are led by Lighthouse Christian Alabama's head coach Ronnie Cottrell. And we got to see practices over the last couple of days. Sometimes you have this perception around football all-star games where they don't try as hard. They're not really going as much on the intensity. But when you walk around the practices here at Rocky Top Sports World, everybody's wanting to win. Everyone's got that mindset of we want to show out. This is our final game. Doesn't matter if it's not with our team or in our respective uniforms. We're ready to put on a show, and that's probably what we're going to see here in this first one.
Yeah, like you said, walking around practice for the last 2 days, all these coaches are screaming one word, and it's compete. They want their guys to compete every play, every down, every quarter, and hopefully come out for the win. And for the seniors playing later today, it's their last game potentially, given college, but it's their last time to step on a football field.
Teams set to take the field in this first matchup. Plenty of action throughout the day here in the Rocky Top Sports World. We'll have a simulcast for you with multiple games going on here at Fields 5 and 6. Encourage you to split screen both of those games and watch them as each of them go in between commercials. We got the Rising Stars game is the marquee matchup here in the morning at 1 p.m. You got the 11-man upper class game and the 8-man upper class game. 4 p.m., the 8-man seniors game and the juniors game happening at the same time on simultaneous fields, and all those times in local time, which is Eastern Standard Time. But we got a good one to start out here for this first Rising Stars matchup, and looks like the Navy team will receive to start out this first half. They will receive a kick from Cody Register, the freshman from Trinity Christian out of Dublin, Georgia. And away we go in the 2024 Gatlinburg All-American Bowls, and we will have a return from the 20-yard line, weaving through to about the 43, and it's a good return for Navy to start out on possession. That was returned by the sophomore from Christ Church Academy, Kyrie Wilson.
Yeah, and he just caught that thing on the run, was able to get a good return, setting up his Navy offense with good field position just outside of the 50. So really excited to see this Navy offense step on the field.
And a handoff up the middle is how the Navy offense will start, going up to about the 50-yard line, trying to push through several defenders there. And it's another carry for Kyrie Wilson. Just had the kickoff return and gets a gain of about 8 yards.
Yeah, just an inside zone play there. But you see the competitive nature in this game already, fighting for every piece of yardage to try to get inside Navy territory, and they're able to do it right there.
Wilson on the season, 167 carries for 1,737 yards. Pretty much any time he carries the ball, he's getting a first down. And 20 rushing touchdowns to complement it there. You know he definitely wants to get into the end zone here in Gatlinburg. Long way to go from there on this drive. Back in the pocket, Crinnery with the pass to the right side. It's a catch made and immediately met on the defense there. That was Jacob Potter from Hebron Christian with the tackle, and that'll move the chains for a first down.
I believe that was C.J. Barnes that caught the pass out of Christ Church's Academy with 33 receptions, 833 yards, 11 touchdowns. This kid's a playmaker, so look for him to be one of the key guys that Crinner looks for today.
One of the beauties of this All-American game is you have so many players from different backgrounds and different teams and sects of the country, as this is pitched forward for Navy. C.J. Barnes from Christ Church Academy has some space to get to about the 35-yard line. The sophomore had 33 carries for 833 yards on the year, 11 rushing touchdowns as well, and he moves the chains into gold territory.
Yeah, if you see the replay right here on your screen, it's just a jet sweep. He's able to get outside, cut back inside, get north and south, and hit towards the sideline to pick up another first down for this Navy offense.
15-minute quarters are being played here in Gatlinburg for these All-American games, and in discussion with Andrew Capps, this is a pitch to the right side. Another carry for Kyrie Wilson, who's going to go to about the 20, make that the 26-yard line is where they'll stop him, several yards after contact for Wilson.
Yeah, and Kyrie Wilson able to get the outside on that one. Looked like Jackson Loden out of Evangel was almost there to grab him, but he was able to outflank him and pick up another good gain.
About a 7-yard gain on that rush. Andrew Capps, the tournament director for these Gatlinburg All-American Bowls, mentioned in the meetings, it's happened in the last couple of years where unfortunately they've had to have a running clock. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen if it ever gets to that point. Had a couple of one-sided games over the years. Fake toss, it's a dump off, and not much space on the carry there for, that was Nolan Bowers, the sophomore from Lakeway Christian out of Morristown, Tennessee.
Yeah, Nolan Bowers with 4 receptions for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. Not sure if those stats are updated, but again, another great target for him to go for today.
That was Will Sunderland from Bethlehem Christian making the tackle. Stopped the first down and only allowed a yard gain. 3rd and 2 outside the 25. And another handoff. Why not? Why would they not trust their star sophomore so far in Kyrie Wilson? He's been involved in pretty much every play on this drive all through the kickoff.
Yeah, Kyrie Wilson, they're able to get him going early, and looking at practices this week, that was a guy they really were trying to get going in practice, give him a lot of reps. Just another inside zone, able to hit the sideline. Really physical on the end of that run. So they're popping pads out here, Spencer.
Inside of 12 minutes in the first quarter, as you got Justin Crineri from Christ Prep Academy will sling it to the right. Another great option and an opening to the right side, trying to go to the end zone. He'll be stopped at about the 3-4 yard line. And looked like O'Neal got the reception there, and it'll move the chains for a first down. Dejon O'Neal getting the carry there out of East Central and trying to push through. There's a flag down. We'll have our first penalty of the game. Flag in the backfield. Likely have a holding of sorts. Sideline warning during the play, and first offense, they won't move the ball back in any capacity there. And now they actually do move. It looks like it was I guess, assisting the runner on push there, and brings it back to about the 8 yard line.
And going back to Dejon O'Neal, we saw him in Florida, Spencer, and he really did play a key part in both of their games they played in the semifinal and the consolation game. So another big piece for this Navy offense to look to get going early in this game.
First and goal on the 8 yard line. Toss across the middle. The catch is made. That's C.J. Barnes with the first touchdown of the Gatlinburg All-American Bowls.
They started the drive with C.J. Barnes, and they finished it there on the quick slant route to C.J. Barnes. Easy throw and catch to put the Gold offense up 6-0 against this get this Navy offense, up 6-0 against this Gold team.
Nothing uncharacteristic for Barnes on the year. He had 33 catches for 833 yards that make that receiving touchdown number 12. And we'll see Barrett Weems from East Central try the point after. Snap, set, kick, and that is wide left. So no PAT in this All-American game, at least at this phase. But a 6-0 advantage with 11:04 left to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, and going back to Barrett Weems, he was booing them yesterday in that little kicking camp they had out here. Great opportunity for these kids to get tools and drills from a professional that was able to come out here and really help them boost their game kicking-wise. So really excited to see a lot of kickers out here. As we know, our very own James Shannon loves the kickers and the punters out here. He loves special teams. So very excited to see that aspect of the game. So we're in for a good one. We've already had a good start. So very excited to see what this Gold offense is going to look like coming out this week. We were able to see them practice, and they had a very good practice yesterday. Talked to their coaches. I believe talking to Coach Goodman yesterday, he said they had a really good practice all week. He's really impressed with his guys. They really treated it like a game week leading up until today.
One of the things you never want to see, especially heading into an All-American game, is a player who is deserving of getting the honor of coming to this All-American Bowl. You don't want to see them get injured in any capacity on that path, as Navy will boot it away. That goes high over. It doesn't look like it contacted the player there, but going on the return for the Gold was Liam Watson, the freshman from the Cabarrus Stallions. And we'll see the Gold offense get to work. But what I was mentioning with that is Nathan Vaseller, the sophomore from the Augusta Eagles, injured and unable to play in this game after a fantastic season that he had. Passed for 619 yards with 11 touchdowns. Also had 6 rushing touchdowns on 321 yards. So you hate to see it, but the good news is he's a rising star. He could get healthy, and he has 2 more years.
Yeah, I talked to the young man yesterday, and he was disappointed to play in the game, but he was really excited to watch his guys today. He's such a team player, even during the season and now being here. Really excited to be here. So we wish you well, young man.
They do have several quarterbacks that they could go to. The ball is loose in the backfield. Looked like a mistake by Daniel Lincoln, and it's a turnover for Navy, and it's picked up by C.J. Barnes.
C.J. Barnes again doing our offense and defense, able to come up with that one. Big, huge swing. Navy had the momentum coming out, but they were able to, as you get the replay right here, just kind of a mixed exchange as Barnes is able to fall on that one.
That was Weston Michalak, the 8th grader from Ambassador Christian, who's the quarterback starting out in this All-American game. And a turnover immediately for the Navy. You know, we were talking about in our production meeting last night. We were having some, guesses of how many turnovers there might be in the game. There's one of saying maybe a combined, I think, for the first game 4. We're already 25% of the way there.
We're at one.
Now Navy has a chance to go up here by 12. And they'll keep it on a handoff. There's a carry by Kyrie Wilson. Loss of about a yard on the play. Second and 11. Back in the pocket. Craneri with the air out to the right side. What a catch! C.J. Barnes, 2 touchdowns within the first 5 minutes of the game.
Just another back shoulder throw there to the rising star, C.J. Barnes, really having a big day already. As you get the replay, is he able to drop back? He's able to drop back. Just another fade route, back shoulder. Able to go up and get it, young man, and bring it down to set this Gold Navy team up 12-0.
First turnover of the game results in points on the first offensive play of the game. And they're going to go for 2 to make this a 14-0 game, and it's a keeper to Wilson. Kyrie Wilson trying to get inside of the goal line. Did he get there? He did. 14-0 Navy.
Yeah, he was just able to turn the corner, really use his power right there with a host of Gold defenders on top of him. It was able to get into the end zone to make it 14-0. Again, like that missed PAT never happened. It's 14-0.
Again, we were talking about this to clarify with the turnover side. We were talking about it because there's so great of defenses on both sides of the ball here between the Gold and the Navy. So it was the question of, are these defensive players going to make some big stands? And already we've got one early on, not even 5 minutes into the game, and you've got a 14-0 lead.
And all these kids are super competitive. They're going to give you 110% throughout the entire game on both offense, defense, and special teams. So these kids are really excited to be here. We've seen a lot of explosive plays already with Barnes already having 2 touchdowns. So let's see if this Navy team's able to recover from that last turnover and hopefully get some points on the board.
Well, Navy not having to worry about any issues with them being up 14-0. We'll see if the Rising Stars Team Gold can get something going on the offensive side. I'm sure Weston Michalak from Ambassador Christian out of Huntersville, North Carolina. We'll talk with his coaches about that between him and Ruddock Williams from Cornerstone out of Rainsville, Alabama. As they'll send this deep, it'll be touched off of the pad of Liam Watson, who does fall back on it at the 26-yard line. Potential disaster there again, but Team Gold falls on it.
Yeah, it just looked like they were both going for the ball, kind of just misjudged where the ball was going to hit and just kind of rolled off a shoulder pad. They're able to get back on it, so we're going to see this Gold offense come on the field, and hopefully they're able to get some points on the board.
We were mentioning from the story in the last drive about Vaseller being injured, so they trust at the quarterback position. No stats for Weston Michalek, at least on Max Preps from our research last night. But certainly the 8th grader getting the nod in the Rising Stars game when it's mostly a heavy freshman and sophomore competition. And there's Adrian Tantum Jr. from the Anderson Cavaliers, who got forced for a loss of about 2 thanks to that Navy defense.
Yeah, that Navy defense looked like it was Trey Sheffrins out of Tri-State. Tri-State was able to make the tackle there. Well, with 18 tackles, 3 sacks, this kid's a monster, and we're really excited to see him come out today.
Coming all the way down from Indiana to get here to Gatlinburg for this stage. Makes a play there to force a loss of 1. Receiver gets on the line, and it's another handoff up the middle. This time cutting the spin around, tried to avoid the final wraparound, did Adrian Tantum Jr., and gets a gain of about 2.
Yeah, Adrian Tantum Jr., we saw him in August at the Black Bear Brawl. Really had a big game there. So really excited to see him as well today. I'm excited to see a lot of these guys, be able to watch film on them all week and watch them practice, really get to see their game up close. It's really good to see and experience all of this. But really excited to see a lot of these guys, and we're seeing a lot of great football today already.
And 2 years down for the Gatlinburg Black Bear Brawls to kick off high school 8-man and 11-man football here on this same field. You start the season here, and you end the season here in the Smoky Mountains.
Or in Packin' Freedom's case, you start the season here and you end it in Florida, right?
Exactly. Dump off, batted down. A great move by Richie Maxwell, the freshman from Southside Christian, to essentially break up the pass. Had a high reach there to, it almost looked like he would have had an interception if he had gotten the grip on the ball. Forces a 4th down.
It's cold out here. That ball may be a little bit too hard. You don't want to really get your paws on that thing. But this Navy offense having to go 3 and out, force this punt away, punt it right back to this hot Navy team.
47 degrees and cloudy here on the mountain. Sun's starting to go out, and it should warm up going deeper into the day. And I can already hear James shouting, "Do it for the brand." Cody Register, the freshman from Trinity Christian, going back as C.J. Barnes with the ball. He'll get to about the 48-yard line, and Navy's offense will get back on the field.
C.J. Barnes doing everything, playing a little bit of corner, a little bit of receiver, and now returning punts. Good punt return to set his offense up. Again, with great field position. Looks like they're going to set the ball right at the 48-yard line-ish. It's going to be it's going to be the 48-yard line. So this Navy offense really hasn't had any trouble driving down the field with Kyrie Wilson, Dejon O'Neal, and, of course, C.J. Barnes. So those probably going to be their 3 guys that they look for. Also, another guy we haven't really talked about yet is Mike Tyson out of Georgia Force, another great guy. Brandon Frex is another guy. He went 63 for 119, 734 yards with 9 touchdowns. So he's another guy. We're going to see him finally play a little bit of quarterback today.
One of many reasons why they run 15-minute quarters. You've got so many great stars on both sides of the ball. You have to give extra time to get them all in. Catch is made by Barnes on the outside. Voids 2 tackles, finally brought down by Colton Fuller, the sophomore from Chambers Academy, after a gain of about 4.
Yeah, that's a great way just to get him to settle into the game. It's an all-star game. Just a quick screen there to C.J. Barnes on first down, able to pick up another good chunk of yards, set up a second and manageable.
Gained 5 on that play to get us to a 7.5-minute remainder in the first quarter. 2 receivers out on the left, and they'll opt to just hand it off to Benjamin Nelson, but the ball is out, and 2 turnovers already in the game. The Gold defense gets the recovery, and it looked like it was Julian Harden from the Freedom Cowboys, the freshman, getting it done.
Yeah, he was able to pop that thing out. Looked like it was possibly Evan Watt that was able to fall on it, so we get the replay right here. It was him. Julian Harden was able to pop it out as that Gold team is able to fall on it. So another swing of momentum going back into the way of this Gold team.
again, we're at two turnovers now. You feel like for the Gold team, they needed this sort of stop or something to try and shift the momentum, because seemingly with the ball coming back after a 4th and short, it looked like Navy was going to do what they did on the opening drive and march down the field. And now we're across midfield. That's where Gold will start. And a scramble for Chalik to the right side, incomplete. There's a flag down on the right side. The pass was intended for Liam Watson. And they'll rule in an eligible receiver downfield. So they'll move it back 5 yards on the ineligible receiver penalty. It puts it back in Gold's territory on the 47. Several options here for Michalek to work with. 8th grader getting trusted to start out this All-American game. Left side toss, the catch made by Jax Metters, the sophomore from Bethlehem Christian. He had 8 catches for 170 yards on the year. Gets a nice chunk play there to gain about 8.
That's a great way for the 8th grader to get a little bit of confidence. Just throw a simple out route there to Jax Metters, the sophomore. Just kind of get him settled in at 2nd down. You make that penalty yardage back. You're now at about 2nd and 8. So you're not looking for an explosive play here, but you want to try to set this 8th grader up for some success.
Toss left side, and incomplete pass intended for Avery Hollifield, the sophomore from Asheville Christian. Usually makes good catches like that there. Or actually, it's interesting. You look at his stat line. He did not have a single catch on the year. He was mostly on the rush side and was at the quarterback position. So that's another benefit of the Rising Stars All-American game. You get to test out these athletes and see what other positions that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, you're able to kind of get a feel of where you really want to be, because a lot of these guys play a lot of different positions. I know for my guys who are playing later today, they've played all over the field. So these coaches really getting a good idea where they're going to be next year for this upcoming 2025 season.
3rd down after the incompletion. They're going to do a double reversal, but the defense immediately read it there. Malachi Adams from Cornerstone Christian gets the tackle for loss.
Malachi Adams, I was watching him in warm-ups. That is a big boy. That is a big boy, man. Malachi Adams with 86 tackles, 19 sacks. So he's a guy that I really keyed in on when I was down at the field watching pregame warm-ups. Another guy that I'm really excited to see in our own. Brendan is probably really excited about that play. As he always says, the game starts in the trenches, and we saw it on that one.
Yeah, looking down, I don't even think he's running one of our cameras here. I think he's setting up on the lower field, but you're right.
Well, he would have loved that one.
Oh, yeah. This one booted away. Another good punt from Cody Register, as this will bounce out at about the 26-yard line. And just what the Navy defense needed after having a fumble there on that play. Turning it back over to the other side, and leaves us 5:18 left to go in the first. And they're moving the ball there. Almost looked like it was a timeout called at the coaching staff. Seems to be a strategy Navy has used on their offensive side, is they have the entire huddle before they start out come over to the sideline.
Yeah, you just want to be able to communicate the play you're going through. Again, these guys have only been here for 2 days, so they're going off of another school's playbook. So it really takes a lot of time to really study that playbook. So you kind of have to coach your guys through it to be able to execute the offense today.
A little bit of a wide snap, but it doesn't matter, as this will be carried up by Dejan O'Neill, the sophomore from the East Central Patriots. And we were down in Florida when they were playing in that semifinal game against the Pac Panthers, and what a performance he had, in addition to the great performance he had throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, Dejan O'Neill really had a big game against the Freedom Cowboys in the semifinal. Came in the second half, really was the spark plug for them, along with his brother, Jamon O'Neill, who unfortunately cannot be here today has come down with the flu, so we're giving him our best wishes. But Dejan O'Neal really had a great season. If I can see his stat line here, Dejan O'Neal, yes, he had 81 rushes for 682 yards.
Completed catch, the pass made there to Mason Beckenhauer, sophomore from the Kansas City East Lions out of Missouri, and moves the chains for a first down.
Yeah, Mason Beckenhauer with 2 receptions for 10 yards. Not sure if those are updated, but again, another great catch, another first down for this Navy offense, again, just moving down the field.
One thing that we've already seen through not even a full quarter of play is that this Navy offense can drive down the field. They can control the tempo. And even when they make mistakes, their defense has managed to match them thus far. As this will be pitched in the backfield. Looks like O'Neal again trying to tiptoe between the tackles, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Dejan, that defense, great job there to swarm. As this Navy offense has pretty much been able to run at will, so a key stop there on that first down play to no yardage for the Navy offense on that one.
Again, head coach Ronnie Cottrell from Lighthouse Christian in Alabama leading this Navy team. Handoff up the middle. Another carry from Kyrie Wilson, and we'll only get a gain of a couple yards.
And I love that battle right there between Wilson and number 53, Grant Goodman out of Bethlehem Christian. Goodman trying to fight for that ball, but Wilson was able to keep possession of that one. So it's going to be 3rd and 8. Probably going to go for a pass here. We haven't seen really much of a deep ball today, except for that one to C.J. Barnes and that back shoulder fade touchdown play they had on the previous drive. But I want to see some explosive plays. I want to see some downfield shots, so perhaps we're going to get one right here. And who else would you go to but C.J. Barnes?
He's pretty much been the answer for Navy, at least in this first quarter. What you usually see with these All-American games is that they rotate between their stars per quarter and move it back 5 yards for, well, it looks like they got an encroachment actually, so a break there for Navy. Looks like Brandon Frex talks with coaching staff, figure out what he wants to do here.
It looked like they were going to go for a jet sweep before that penalty was called, but they were going back to C.J. Barnes, so perhaps no matter how many penalty yards they got, perhaps they're going to go back to the young man.
And they have to hurry up with the play clock winding down.
Just going with a hard count, seeing if they're going to jump again.
Yeah, it's delay a game. You're right. And they'll move it back 5 yards.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get these all-stars with a hard count today, Spencer. All these guys super disciplined on both sides of the ball, so tricks like that may not work like it would in the regular season.
Yeah, and I guess it's early enough on in the game that you could try that.
You could try it, yeah, and it's just another part of the game of football, so they're going to try everything. They want to do everything to win, so
in the backfield, Frex will dump it off, and not much real estate for Wilson to work with. He got stopped in a 4th down coming up. We'll see the first Navy punt of the day.
Yeah, a good stop by the Gold team. Able to get off the field on defense, so hopefully this Gold team is able to drive the field. Looks like they're going to be set up giving a return, probably still in their own territory. Looks like that's going to be number 31, Asher Evans, returning the punt for Trinity Christian.
That was a high snap, but successfully booted off by Barrett Weems. And there's a flag down on the backside of the play, as this will go down to about the 27-yard line. Actually on the far sideline, so maybe a offside. Which that sometimes begs the question on this thing. Well, he's pointing over to the gold sideline, so yeah, it looks like it is a penalty on the Navy. We had this come up a couple times in the last few months of the question of, do you just re-kick it on like a 5-yard penalty, or do you decline the penalty, or do you take the yardage? Sometimes you can.
Wasn't it Pack that kicked it 3 times?
I think so. Yeah, illegal formation or false start is what they called their, probably illegal formation since they didn't stop the play. And the officials having a discussion trying to figure out what they want to do here. Yeah, legal formation, and it's declined. Much ado about nothing. New set of downs for Gold. They'll start out on their own 27-yard line. Toss right side, incomplete. Looked like he was intending for the pass with Reddick Williams, hoping that he would cut back. Just a miscommunication.
And once again, C.J. Barnes right there to potentially make the play if that ball had been caught. Good job breaking on the ball to break up that one.
They got a couple of options at quarterback through the Gold roster, so you wonder if they do a swap of by quarters, or if they sometimes, as in these all-star games, you have first half is where they'll have a quarterback go for. As they'll hand this off to Adrian Tatum Jr., and he's brought down by the defense of the Navy, in part by Nathan McClung, the sophomore from Christ Prep Academy, and looked like also Cole Brancati from the Southside Christian Sabres was involved.
Yeah, Nathan McClung with 57 tackles on the year, 2 sacks. Another monster for the Christ Prep out of Lenexa, Kansas. Really excited to see him as well, as we are getting another quarterback into the game. Looks like it's going to be Weston's going to stay in the game, but alongside Cade Atkinson out of South Haven Christian from Springfield, Tennessee, as the quarter ends.
Well, for now, we have the end of the first 15 minutes break here in the first quarter. 14-0. Navy leading Gold in the Rising Stars All-American Bowl. We welcome you back to the Smoky Mountains. Started the second quarter in this Rising Stars game, and it's slung to the left side, and it's almost intercepted. Looked like Asa Price from the Georgia School for Innovation and Classics could have gotten the interception there, as it's incomplete for a third down.
Yeah, Asa Price able to stay in phase on that one, potentially come up with that pick just falling right through his arms. As you see right here, he's able to get in good position. Would have been a really tough catch for the receiver, but this Navy defense, we're going to get another punt here today as C.J. Barnes is back. The dangerous C.J. Barnes is back to return the punt.
They swap sides of the field, and I believe that CJ will be returning this punt into the sun, if I'm not mistaken.
Good bounce.
And did bounce to the 50 and will go back into Navy's territory at about the 46, and a good friendly roll down to the 45. 30-yard punt, and no chance for CJ to even try to go after that one.
And I think the name of the game right now for this Navy offense is clock management. They've really taken their time. They've done a really good job pacing the offense today, kind of mix and run and pass. Haven't really seen a lot of deep shots. That deep shot by the Gold offense was kind of the first big attempted play we've seen today. So let's see if they're able to. They've got a lead. See if they take a few more chances here.
First offensive drive of the second quarter for Navy. And Justin Crenier will continue to stay at the quarterback position here for this drive. Got an option that'll send in motion, and it'll be a toss to the right. That's to Kyrie Wilson. Tried to find some space. Looked like he almost stiff-armed a man down to the ground as he gets to the 45 and gets a first down.
He stiff-armed a man, and he brought 2 or 3 guys with him. Looks like he might have lost the ball on that one because number 31, Hunter McGregor, came up with the ball, but Navy retains possession.
Brings him into Gold territory at the 44. Toss left side, catch is made. The reception by Brock Robinson, the 8th grader from the Atlas Rattlers. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the few times that we've had players from Texas make their trip out here to Gatlinburg to participate in the All-American Bowls. And good to see the team out of Fort Worth, Texas here in the Smokies.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited to have them out here. We have a lot of schools from all around the country here to participate in the All-American Gatlinburg All-American Bowl. So really excited to see all these guys. Guys you may not see on a week-to-week basis, but really excited to see what they have for us today.
Plenty of time initially, but gets swallowed up by the defensive line. Gold's Cody Register and Grant Goodman with the sack.
Grant Goodman already with one big play, one big tackle for loss earlier in this game, is able to come up with that big sack, setting up this Navy offense with 3rd and long. Kind of the first time we've seen them with a 3rd and long, kind of a time, not really desperation because you're up by 2 scores, but another chance to potentially see a big play.
Crenier, is, especially when he's able to pass, he's really good on the year, about 1,300 passing yards and 20 passing touchdowns with a QBR of 106.5. Usually pretty good when he's not having to deal with too much pressure. Scrambles and gets away from the potential sack here, and he will run it past the 35 and gets brought down at the 31. Crenier on the year at 59 rushes for 320 yards, gets a big gain for a first down.
I was about to say, you were mentioning his passing stats, but how about his rushing stats is there as he puts that on display. As you see, as he steps up into the pocket, able to get through the first line, get to the second level, make a couple men miss, and is able to get upended around the 31-yard line.
And he'll hand it off to Kyrie Wilson to try and trust him again, but looks like the defensive line has said no to Kyrie Wilson ever since he scored those. Ever since he started driving from the first quarter.
Grant Goodman again on that one, able to make a big play for this defensive line. Both lines have played very well today on offensive and defensive side of the ball. Not able to really get a run game going for either of these teams today.
He did manage to get a gain of 3 yards there for a 2nd and 7. And Crenier will air it out on the right side. Great catch, and could not get back up. Would have been gone to the end zone if C.J. Barnes had not fallen down there, but a great catch that'll still move him for a first down in the red zone.
Yeah, great catch by C.J. Barnes again. It might have been to the end zone if he hadn't just slipped on that one But C.J. Barnes, another great reception, trying to get this young man going, and he's just producing all sort of kind of plays today.
Navy offense earring very similar to what they did at the beginning of the game with this lob to Kyrie Wilson in the backfield. Not going to go anywhere. Loss of several yards thanks to Asher Evans.
Asher Evans, another guy that we haven't really mentioned a lot today, but able to fill the gap on that one and stop Kyrie Wilson for a loss for another good play. These defenses are flying around today, Spencer. They're really doing a great job.
Big reason why we're at the point of 2 turnovers and I believe we said, was it 5 punts at this point, 5 or 6?
5 or 6 at this point. Maybe we should ask producer Jack where we're at when it comes to punts.
Yeah. Said it was at 4 punts right now. Toss left side. Catch is made. Inside for a 1st and goal. The reception made there by Dejon O'Neal.
Yeah, Dejon O'Neal able to get out to the flat and just turn up to the sideline. Another great job there by the young man. We saw them have a lot of plays like that in Florida to the young man, able to get that ball out in space for Dejon O'Neal.
Brings it to a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Crenier, quick toss, incomplete. Looked like it was just outside of the reach of Aaron Gilliam.
Yeah, trying to go back to that quick slant again in the red zone. Unable to come up with that one. Another great pass. We've seen a lot of good passes from these quarterbacks today. Just unable to come up with that one. So look for them to go back to them. They really like the quick slant inside the 5-yard line.
You like these quick slants inside the 5?
I love these slants inside the 5, unless you're Russell Wilson.
It's kind of one of these dual threat scenarios for Navy because you could also try to go with Wilson on a rush, but
you could absolutely. We've also seen the quarterback's legs today, so a little bit of as we see it right here.
It looked like he was trying to push through, and they whistle it. They whistle it down. Looks like the Navy sideline was not happy with the early whistle on there, but
he got out of it.
Trying to keep player safety in mind with that, but seemed maybe a little early on the stoppage.
And going back to Crenier's legs, now that he has shown that he can run the football, that kind of opens up your offense a little bit. You're able to go to the read option. You get a little bit of quarterback run plays alongside Wilson and Barnes. So you really have a 3, maybe 4-headed monster with Dejon O'Neal starting to get involved into the game. So this offense really opening up for them. So you have a multitude of options down here as you see C.J. Barnes is at the bottom of your screen right now.
Crenier will air it to the left side looking for the pass. Oh, it would have been a great catch had Benjamin Nelson been able to pull it in. It was inside of his reach. Looked like his feet were in. He just couldn't pull in the ball.
Quick slants and back shoulder fades has kind of been the name of the game for these trips inside the red zone, as we're going to get our first field goal attempt here. So really excited to see this. These kickers have been really good all week.
First field goal attempt coming up to make this a 17-point lead and, in essence, a 3-possession game. Here's Weems with the hold. Gilliam, Weems trying to get it through, and it is no good. Wide left. That'll turn the ball back over into the Gold's possession. 9:28 left to go in the first half.
And these guys yesterday were booming it from 40 yesterday during their specialist camp. So these kickers really talented. The wind is kind of going, just kind of not in the direction, not in the favor of him on Weems on that one. But Weems made a really about 2 or 3 critical kicks down in Florida. So the young man's really talented, playing quarterback, receiver, and kicker for the East Central Patriots.
And we'll see what the Gold can do. Shutout right now so far through about a quarter and a half. And they still have Weston in at quarterback, as he'll hand it off again to Tantum Jr., who will get a chunk play for about 4 to 5 yards.
I don't know if you noticed it, Spencer, but Tantum Jr. on that one, going with the Ashton Genty stance. You see a lot of running backs doing that nowadays, with Ashton Genty being a Heisman finalist. So a lot of these kids look up to those college players, and they really model their games after them. We asked a lot of players yesterday on the 8-Man Extreme social media, Instagram, who do you model your game after? And a lot of these guys said a lot of popular names in the NFL and college.
Right side, Tantum Jr. again trying to do that same idea of a chunk play. He'll get about to the line to gain, and it's ruled a first down.
Yeah, able to reset the chains on that play. This Gold offense trying to get something going. This Navy defense has kind of been on top of them all game, not able to get anything in the run game. So they really are trying to commit to that run game and that quick game, trying to move the ball down the field. But you got to wonder, again, when you're going to try to take a deep shot. You took one on the last drive, and it didn't work out in your favor. See if they go back to it.
And they keep running the ball, this time to Liam Watson, the freshman from the Cabarrus Stallions out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Only had 4 carries for 14 yards on the year. Good to see him get a couple of yards there in Gatlinburg. We were talking about this earlier. You're speaking about players that they look up to. Who's your Heisman winner this year?
Oh, man.
Even our producer Scott Savage is looking over the smirk. He's like, I don't know if you want to answer that, man.
On paper, it should be Ashton Genty. Everything in my being is telling me Ashton Genty should win it, but it's a popularity award. Travis Hunter's probably going to take this one home.
Up the middle on a carry, the Swallow. Not much there for the Gold offense to work with. Navy defense swallowing them up.
And if you want me to be really biased, I believe Nico Emaliava is going to win it in about 2 to 3 years. If you want me to be really biased.
Okay, 2 to 3 years, yeah. We're talking about this year.
I don't care. He should win it this year, too. All 4 years of his college career, he should take that thing home. Potentially make it his first national championship as well if we're able to take care of business in Columbus on Saturday.
You think there should be a Heisman for 8-man football? We'll get that after this play.
Absolutely.
Incomplete pass intended across the middle for Metters, and brings up a 4th down.
Absolutely, there should be a Heisman in 8-man football.
What would you call it?
What would you call it?
The Brand Award.
No.
For James.
No, I'd call it the Tim Smith Award. That's what I would call it, Tim Smith Award, you know?
Yeah, it's so tough to name it after a certain player, too, because there's been so many great ones over the years. So maybe name it after a coach or something. Maybe Tim Smith could have the Coach of the Year award for it.
That would be a great award.
Already starting to put ideas out there. 4th and 5 coming up. We're now at 5 punts on the game. A good one for Cody Register, as this will bounce down to about the 37, and it's touchdown by Jax Menders. About a 33-yard punt, as Navy's offense will get back to work. Just a reminder for you, we've got a full day of action here from the Smoky Mountains, exclusively here on the 8-Man Extreme YouTube page. You got 2 games going on at 1 p.m. Eastern, the 11-man upper class game, as well as the 8-man upper class game. And at 4 p.m., the 8-man seniors game and the juniors game will be simulcast as well. All of it here on the 8-Man Extreme YouTube channel. Hope you'll stick around. Hope you'll join us for this entire exciting day here in Gatlinburg to conclude the high school 8-man football season. And here's a carry for Kyrie Wilson, the left side. Looked like he may have been stopped at the line of scrimmage, but managed to push through after contact to get a gain of 4.
They really like that toss sweep play to Kyrie Wilson. They really like his speed getting outside. Able to break a tackle. Was able to pick up, I believe it was a gain of 4 on that one. So this again, both offenses trying to get the run game open and try to open up the pass game. This Navy offense looking at Barnes a lot in the passing game. But you want to try to get a few more guys involved. We have a lot of playmakers out here today.
And at least the Gold defense to this point has stopped Navy from getting any more scores. Certainly the field goal, there's only so much you can do if you try to block it. Toss right side. There's some open space here for the tight end for Navy. That's Nolan Bowers, the sophomore from Lakeway Christian, who got to the outside and is now in gold territory at the 45.
Nolan Bowers rumbling like Brock Bowers over the Las Vegas Raiders, and Georgia Bulldogs able to pick up that first down for this Navy offense.
And they'll spot it at the 44. That was Mike Tyson on the tackle. That was one of those players you mentioned that we were going to mention his name at some point, and now starting to get into the mix.
Yeah, another great player in Mike Tyson. Made a lot of good plays for the Georgia Force with 52 tackles on the year for his team.
Couldn't get yards after contact. Pulled down by the jersey. That was Skylar Hobson, the sophomore from Lakeway Christian, on the tackle. Loss of 2 on the play for 2nd and 12. Second and 12. Pressure here to try and weave through, and he does. Craneri gets a huge gain. Looks like it could have just resulted in a sack. Gets to the 30-yard line for a first down.
Craneri again using his legs, stepping up in the pocket, sees no one there. This gold secondary doing a really good job right now covering these receivers. He's got no choice but to take off, but he picks up another first down for this Navy offense.
Craneri will just hand it off again. O'Neal up the middle. Takes 3 gold defenders to bring him down. Gain of 4.
Yeah, and again, that running game really not there. Again, as we said previously in the broadcast, Dejon O'Neal again going back to his stat line for the sophomore out of the East Central Patriots. Again, if I can find him on my sheet here. Yeah, Dejon O'Neal with 81 rushes, 682 yards with 13 touchdowns. And again, got involved in the passing game with 3 receptions for 32 yards. So the young man can do it all.
Craneri with the toss to the right side. Catch is made, trying to cut inside. A good reception there from Kyle McFarland, the sophomore from the Pack Panthers who showed up in the national championship, is showing up here in the All-Star game.
Yeah, Kyle McFarland again, another big guy. Like you said, played a big part in Florida. Coach Yeoman's really like getting his young guys involved in that one, and it really boosted up their confidence in that game, and it's showing off right now with the Panther making that catch.
2 receivers to the left, looking for the scramble, and he's going to be brought down for a sack. Great sack there by Colton Fuller from Chambers Academy.
Yeah, Colton Fuller, Chambers Academy, another guy that I saw this week at practice that had a really good week at practice. Really showed up, was kind of a leader for their team this week. So him showing up right now is really putting that leadership on display.
And looks like they are sending a player out to the bench. We got a timeout called by Navy. So Navy's going to use their first timeout of the first half, and we will step aside as they get a chance to think it over. Navy had a chance to think it over. They burnt their first time out of the half. It's a dump-off pass to O'Neal on the right side. O'Neal trying to hurdle but couldn't get the angle. Gets to about the 18-yard line, and it'll move the clock. And you think about this is essentially not like a 2-minute drill, but this is a chance for Navy to fully milk the clock, especially because it's a chance for them to milk the clock and score because Gold will get it to start the second half.
Yeah, you want to milk the clock. You don't want Gold to have a chance to score on this next possession. If they're able to get the ball back, you want to try to go up by 3 scores, and you don't want a twofer because if the Gold get the ball back, they get the ball to start the second half. So you really don't want to go 3 and out on here and able to put it in the end zone or able to kick a field goal here. So you really want to get this one to the end zone.
You can already hear some of the crowd shouting touchdown. They're wanting the same thing. Cranier didn't see the defender coming towards him. That is James Wolf, the sophomore from the Evangel Lightning. He did not have a sack on the year. The rising star gets one here in Gatlinburg.
Well, he got one there. He came in like a torpedo. If you see on the replay, he's coming off the edge right there. Is he able to get right by the offensive lineman, just hits him right on his blind side, and he's able to get the big tackle there for the Gold defense. First big play there for the Gold defense today.
And it's actually Gold who will spend a timeout here with 1:19 left to go in the first half. So chance for them to think it over and also preserve the clock. They'll get a chance to think it over. We'll step aside again. Two timeouts left for both sides, and Navy is going to attempt a field goal from the 26-yard line. What better place to do it than Gatlinburg? This one's high and not even close. The important thing is they tried, put the effort in. You could tell that Barrett Weems wanted another shot at it.
Yeah, he wanted another shot at that one. He just kind of got a little bit too much on that one. Not much of an arc on that one. Just kind of went straight up, dropped back down. But, again, another good try for the sophomore there. Again, he was hitting field goals like crazy yesterday, so he shouldn't lose any confidence over that at all.
I'm sure he'll get some more chances going into the rest of the game to show what he can do.
And if he's able to hit one, I have a very special saying from our own James Shannon that I will repeat.
We know.
Yeah, and Gold really needs to find a way to air it out here. You don't have a lot of time with 1:19 left on the clock. You haven't really been able to get your passing game going. You just kind of gotten a little bit of the quick game going. So you really need to try to take some downfield shots. And if I'm here on first down, I will take one of those right now.
They start out on their own 20-yard line with 1:19, and it's a sack. It is a sack. Not the way they wanted to start. They do have 2 timeouts, and don't think they're going to burn it. You know what I just realized? I thought it was 1:19 when the field goal happened. So I guess they never ran seconds off of the clock there, which is a lucky break for Gold, and finally a timeout burned, but this time by Navy. And Navy gets their second timeout of the half. You're a coach. Will you explain that one for me, please?
You said Navy took a timeout?
Yeah, Navy took a timeout.
Yeah, you want to try to get the ball back. You have
Okay.
1 minute left. it's second down. You get a big play on there. You don't want the clock to roll
Yeah.
because Gold potentially has the chance to score in the second half and have it by one score. So you want to try to get in your defense head, tell them to knock that ball down. You want to prepare them for anything coming their way. But again, going back to that last play, Richie Maxwell out of Southside Christian Sabres out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, was able to come off the edge on that one from his outside linebacker spot and come up with a big sack.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense now. I would think if they had all three of their timeouts, they could stop it, because even if you get another timeout here on the third down, it would take it maybe like 20 seconds unless they pass it and incomplete.
When you have C.J. Barnes
That's
out of
fair.
wide receiver, you just hoist it up to that young man and anything can happen.
Very much fair on that. Let's see if Gold can get anything going. About a 2nd and 16.
You got trips out to the field.
Scramble, right side, incomplete. Pass intended for Ruddock Williams, and essentially a timeout given to Navy on that incompletion.
Yeah, I was about to say you want to knock that ball down and stop the clock because you still have, I believe they have 2 timeouts left after that one. So they are wanting to try to get the ball back. So with the incomplete pass, that stops the clock. You have 55 seconds. So you're able to get a stop here, burn one more timeout with the punt. You would have potentially probably a little bit over 30 seconds. To get your offense going to potentially get into the end zone, or perhaps another field goal to go up by 3 scores.
Brings us to a 3rd and 16. Weston slinging. He's got a man across the middle, and a great catch. It's not enough for the first down. Catch was made by Jax Metters, and Navy is going to use their final timeout. And it's going to be a timeout called by Navy, so we will step aside as we get ready to change down. One timeout for both teams. I beg your pardon, actually. Gold has 2 timeouts. Navy used their final. And on 4th down, they're going to go for it with a carry up the middle. Spinning several tackles out is Adrian Tantum Jr. to get the first down. A gutsy call on a 4th down for Navy to potentially drive it down for a 3rd score. But Adrian Tantum Jr. did not feel any of that pressure.
Clock still running, able to pick out that one. They were probably expecting pass, but they surprised them with the run play.
And they're going to rush it again. Tantum Jr. trying to get past, and they will not let him go beyond the line of scrimmage. And that may take us to the end of the first half. They do burn a timeout with 24.4. And how about the gutsy call on 4th down deep in your own territory to run the ball and try to get that first down?
As a defensive coach, everything is telling me pass on that one. With the offensive coordinator then going with a run, you kind of put the defense off balance on that one, able to run the ball. Tatum Jr. able to pick up that first down, unable to get chunk of yards on that one. But if you're the coach for Navy right now, you're telling your guys to get out of bounds. You want to try to preserve all the clock you can get now with no timeouts. So you want to try to preserve that time with 24 seconds left. But only with 24 seconds left, you've got to think you want to try to take some deep shots and try to get inside your own territory. You really haven't crossed over into your own territory at all throughout the day, so you really want to try to get something going here.
How about the job that Weston Michalak has done throughout this first half, too?
Michalak has really been in command of the offense with the quick game and run game, and he's been a leader all weekend here. As we saw, he was mic'd up for us on Friday, yesterday morning, and he really was taking control of his team there at practice.
Michalak airs it out to the right side in coverage, and it's incomplete. Looked like it could have been intercepted. Looked like Kyrie Wilson and company in the area. 18.6 left to go here, and it's third down.
Yeah, it's third down. Kyrie Wilson and C.J. Barnes there on the coverage, able to break that one up. So you're throwing it into double coverage. Still a great throw by the young man, setting his receiver up potentially for a big play. But, again, you have 18 seconds left. It is third down, so you have about 2 more tries. But you want to try to get Weems out of field goal territory, because if you are able to this Navy defense is able to get a few stops or a few tackles for losses, they still have those timeouts to potentially get a field goal to go up by 3 scores.
Be sure to stick around here for the halftime show as well. The All-American games also select All-American cheerleaders from respective teams across the country, and we'll have that audio and video for you here at halftime as this carry up the right side for Tantum Jr. goes nowhere, and I believe that is going to take us to the end of the first half. It doesn't look like Coach is going to burn it his final timeout. 14-0. Navy started strong here in this first half, and they'll get a chance to think it over in the locker room. We will be back in a few moments in terms of the game, but be sure to stick around here for the halftime show for the All-American cheerleaders here in Gatlinburg.
Introducing your juniors cheer team. From the Tennessee Heat, Livy Scott and Roxy Scott. From the Augusta Eagles, Leda Rodriguez and Morgan Back and Addie Lunsford. From the Panthers, Ava Bemis and Sophie Hall. From the KC East Lions, Charlotte Ray. And then from Russell Christian, Ella Grace. And from your Georgia Force, Alexis Posey, Leanna Reed, Abby Seabrook, Elizabeth Posey, Lauren Gillette, and Madeline Taylor. And from the Cabarrus Stallions, Ari Russell, Eden Klutz, and Abby Constantino. Coached by Christy Scott of the Tennessee Heat and Keisha Christensen of the Georgia Force. On the field now is your 11-man football cheer team from Bessemer Christian Academy. Callie Limley, Chloe Nunley, Harper Rawls, Kira Skinner, Libby Salter, Maddie Barnett, Brooklyn Allen, Brooklyn Nevins, Madeline Howard. From the South Carolina Spartans, Annette Winsenet. From Evangel Christian, Anna Armstrong, Sawyer Griffin, Kira Bailey, Sarah King, Aaron Eicher, Cadence Wilkinson. From the Cabarrus Stallions, Cecilia Clark, Julian Throckmorton, Lila Ayers, Zoe Wagner, Allie Freeman, and Cadence Wilkinson. And from right here in Gatlinburg, the Gatlinburg Pittman Highlanders cheerleaders, Leah Padilla, Taylor Brown, Gracie Allen, and Audrey Schultz. Let's hear it for our cheer teams.
We appreciate those of you who stuck around to watch this halftime show for the Rising Stars game and wanted to take just a few moments to tell you about the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a nonprofit organization that helps wounded, ill, and injured veterans and their families. The Wounded Warrior Project's mission is to advocate for warriors and help them thrive in civilian life. Some of the WWP's programs and services include mental health support, career counseling, long-term rehabilitative care, and advocacy efforts. Find out how you can help support the cause and their mission by going to woundedwarriorproject.org. Appreciate their partnership with this All-American game. Second half coverage should be starting up here in a few moments. I believe they have a 3 warm-up period in standard high school football rules. Just waiting for the scoreboard to reset on that. We'll be back in just a few moments here from the Smoky Mountains. We welcome you back to the Smoky Mountains, start of the third quarter and second half for the 2024 Rising Stars game, all a part of Gatlinburg All-American Bowl weekend here at Gatlinburg Pittman High School. This is Hammond Stadium, Legion Field, I should say, is where these players are on right now. The turf surface and facing off against more reasonable temperatures in the winter, about a 51-degree circumstance right now, and sun shining here in Smoky Mountains. Spencer Thompson, Eli Cornett, Scott Stafford, our producer today, director Jack Helwig in the other booth, who keeps looking over at us with smiles and gestures and everything, as this kickoff is going to be returned by Asher Evans, the freshman from Trinity Christian, and he'll get up to about the 32-yard line to start out this second half drive for the Gold. First impressions you've had from the first half so far?
Pretty much, I mean, both defenses have really been really good today. Grant Goodman has been the guy that has really stood out, along with Richie Maxwell as well for Navy. Also been very, very impressed with these quarterbacks today. Michalak and Cranier have taken command of the offense. And really the story of the game has been C.J. Barnes. He's come up in big ways in offense and defense today. So we're seeing a lot of good talent on display today, and really excited for the second half of this game.
And at least on the Gold side, they need to get some sort of score here, as this is carried by Adrian Tannum, and he'll get stuffed by the defensive line. The rushing game is really not – they had a couple of times where they had some big bursts, but really the rushing game hasn't been working for the Gold thus far.
Yeah, they had a couple times. They got Tannum early going late in the first half, as he was able to break a few runs there, so they're probably going to try to get him going. We only saw two deep pass attempts for this for this Gold offense today. So let's see if they try to go back to that. They were unable to connect on those two, but Michalak really started to get confidence in this offense.
Appreciate all 180 plus of you who are joining us here for this Saturday morning game. Toss left side is incomplete. I believe they ruled it a lateral, and it's fallen on by Jax Metters. Good awareness to prevent that from being turned over to the Navy. Results in a loss of 3 for 3rd and 13. One thing you'll also notice about these All-American games, this is the first time that these games, at least on our vantage point, that we're facing the Gatlinburg Pittman logo. Back in August, they were a week out from finishing the renovations to this press box over here. They tried to get a rush to the right side on the sweep. Tandem Jr. trying to go to the right side, and he's not going to get anywhere. We lost at about the 20-yard line, and fourth down punt coming up.
Yeah, and that was the sophomore.
I believe Cole Brancotti.
Yeah, it was the sophomore Cole Brancotti out of the Southside Christian Sabres, who's had a few good stops in the first half. But again, another good one, setting up another Gold punt.
As I was mentioning, a week before the Black Bear Brawls in August, the rest of the years, the press box and PGA system and everything configured with it were on the other side of the field, in the smaller press box with the smaller windows and that good old August heat in that non-air conditioned section of the press box. That was a lot of fun over the years for you and I and the other broadcast members I've worked with, as this punt will be returned at the 50-yard line. That's Ruddick Williams. The freshman has got a bit of space. Ruddick Williams is avoiding many tackles, and he gets into the end zone. A 50-yard punt return touchdown for the freshman.
Yeah, that was C.J. Barnes who was able to come up with that one. If we can get a replay here, C.J. Barnes able to run up and make the catch. You see right here, he's able to cut back inside and just at that point hit the crease and break a tackle and just run right into the end zone. Speed kills on that one. The sophomore is able to make a big play.
C.J. Barnes from Jacksonville, Florida. A little bit of different weather around this time of year than he might be used to. Not affecting him in any capacity. Another touchdown for Navy. They're up by 3 scores. And we'll see if Weems can have some redemption on the PAT. And in Gatlinburg, his first kick through the sticks gets him one. 21-0. Navy has the advantage here over Gold. But finished the story he was talking about, moved over from the side of the press box. Kind of feels like a chamber in essence when you're walking up here to the press box with the hallways and everything. The other side used to be it's that small steps up, getting up there, but always been good here at Gatlinburg Pittman High School and Rocky Top Sports World. A lot of great accommodations here for the all things considered, especially Gatlinburg. We've been coming here since 2018, at least for the All-American games, and then adding the Black Bear Brawls in August. You get a best of both worlds, I would say. You get the heat of the Smokies and the cold of the Smokies twice in 1 year.
I prefer the heat.
I would rather be cold and shivering than hot and sweaty. I've learned that in my lifetime.
Well, Spencer, no.
Because at least you can protect yourself from the cold. Like the heat, you can't really do anything.
It's called shorts and a T-shirt, Spencer.
No, look, with the cold, you can bundle up and keep yourself warm. With the heat, yeah, you have the short stuff, but you still have the sun beating down and the humidity in the south.
It's called hydration. That's what it's called. You have to be hydrated.
Yeah, but skin cancer is a thing. As Asher Evans goes up to the 30-yard line, you have to put a whole bunch of sunscreen on.
That was so out of pocket.
I mean, I mean that's the other thing is that the cold won't give you that. If you could bundle up and protect yourself from hypothermia
and pneumonia.
Yes, exactly. You could bundle up, and protect yourself from that. But in the heat, it's like with the sun beating down, you can't really.
Oh my goodness, we have a football game going on here.
We do.
Spencer, we don't need to be arguing
we
about.
do.
This is not the Weather Channel.
Do they argue about this on the Weather Channel?
Most likely.
We need a Stephen A. Smith style weather debate show on the Weather Channel. Be like, I like the cold. I always have. I always will. I like the concept of the cold. Love it. Love Stephen A. Smith. No chance he watches this. From the 32-yard line, the Gold to handoff. Going up the middle, carry attempt by Daniel Lincoln, the freshman from Heritage Christian. Carry of a couple of yards to about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and Daniel Lincoln with 94 rushes on the season, over almost 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. So he really was a major part of their production for them this year. So a guy we haven't really seen run the ball a lot today. So hopefully he's able to spark this run game.
And it looks like they're still, which shows how much trust they have in Weston Michalak and how they're still putting him at the quarterback position. Granted, one of their other quarterbacks in Vaseller injured. Toss across the right side, a catch made. That's Jax Metters who gets across to the 48-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, and Jax Metters with 8 receptions, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns, also able to do on the defensive side of the ball with 5 tackles. So he's a big guy for he's probably going to be a big future target for Heritage Christian Bethlehem Christian, and they're really excited to see what he can do today.
New set of downs here for Gold as they hand it off again. This time it's a carry that's Kate Atkinson from South Haven Christian. He's got some space to get outside the 20-yard line. Looks like he may have lost the ball for a split second, but down to the 16.
Kate Atkinson, a really great athlete, can pretty much do it all for Coach Crawley and the South Haven Patriots. Able to play quarterback, DB, running back, receiver, kind of your do-it-all guy. I got a little dose of that back in August, but great athlete there, and he's able to spark that run game. They've been looking to spark that all game long, and they've been able to do it.
South Haven Patriots came up short in the semifinal playoffs for the Southeastern Extreme Conference, but big reason why a lot of their players are here is because of that tight contest they had in their performance throughout the regular season. As this gets handed off, trying to go to the left side, it's carried by Daniel Lincoln from Heritage Christian. Gets tripped up for a loss of 5. McGregor on the stop. 2nd and 15. Quick toss, left side incomplete, flag thrown. I would not be surprised if this is illegal contact.
Pass is incomplete. Flag.
You see Michelak going over to receiver saying, giving him a few directions.
Ineligible receiver downfield, so 3rd down.
But again, going back to Michelak, able to take command of the offense, able to tell this guy just kind of exactly what he wants him to do on that one. A little bit of miscommunication on that play, but just going over there, showing him a good job, probably make up for it on the next one. But great job by them, by Michelak, able to go over there and be a leader as he has been all weekend.
Third down and 15 from the 20-yard line.
First time they've run a wing formation all game long.
Does it benefit him here? Michelak under pressure. Avoid it for the moment. Try to get the pass off. Great catch and reception, but almost would have benefited Atkinson to just bat down the pass for the incompletion as they lost several yards.
Here's the question. Does Gold have a field goal kicker? That's the question.
Probably look there. They do have Dylan Plate, the freshman from Gatlinburg Pittman.
They do, and looks like they're going to go for a field goal here.
Yeah, he's played on this same field, so he knows the conditions all too well. Very much familiar for him. Did he start playing Lose Yourself by Eminem on the PA in here with that? That's great.
Oh, my goodness.
Name is slipping me of our public address announcer here in Stadium and music guy, but that you could not make that stuff up.
All right, here we go.
Snap, set, kick. It's a low line drive.
Do it for the brand!
That's Cody Register, who is the offensive defensive tackle. First points of the day for Gold come on a field goal. (21-3) will step aside. Great field goal witness there. And same man who kicked the field goal gets to boot it away for kickoff. And trying to find some space for return down to about the 25-yard line. That was returned for Navy's Kyrie Wilson. And we'll see how Navy responds.
Yeah, first time we're going to see Navy have the ball for the second half. So really excited to see this offense. They've been pretty much doing it at will. We haven't seen the offense due to that C.J. Barnes punt return for a touchdown. So really excited. Grenier leading the offense has been able to do it with his arm and legs throughout the first half in this game entirely, along with Kyrie Wilson. Dejan O'Neal got in the act later in the ball game, and C.J. Barnes has kind of been a monster on both sides of the ball as well. Some more guys that we really haven't mentioned today. Kyle McFarland has been doing it on offense. He had one catch already. along with there was one Isaiah Cucklow out of Tri-Cities. We haven't seen him that much today. So look for those guys, along with Asa Price. He's kind of been minimum, along with Benjamin Nelson out of the Kansas City East Lions. So some of those guys I'm looking forward to seeing later today.
And Nelson just tried to carry it on the left side and got stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain on a second down. And this is usually about the time in the All-American game. Regardless of what the score is, you get into the second half, they start rotating other players and try to get everybody some playing time. I think there was only one time where a player didn't get more than like 4 or 5 snaps, mostly because of unfortunate injuries. But good contact there after good movement after contact by Nolan Bowers from Morristown, Tennessee. Tried to push forward a little bit more. Gains 3 there for 3rd down.
Yeah, they really like that flat route to the tight end. They ran it once. Bowers had a long gain on the previous time they ran it. Bowers, again, a guy that Lakeway Christian really likes to utilize. The sophomore came on late in the season. Really enjoy watching him play today.
On 3rd down, Navy tries to push it down the field. It's a great catch by the tight end, trying to stretch out for extra yardage. Nolan Bowers again. He's going to be 2 yards short of the 1st down. And the Navy's up by 18 right now. We saw the Gold team go for it at the end of the first half on a 4th down. And it looks like the punt team is going to come out, so no question about that.
Yeah, if you're Gold, you're feeling pretty good right now. You're able to kick that field goal, potentially get good field position, given a return. So you really want to try to get this ball in the end zone in this drive. You really got to, if you want to try to stay in the game with 6:56 left in the clock in the 3rd quarter. So you're really trying to get the ball in the end zone and only make it a 2-score game at that point.
And a high snap. Is he going to get the punt off? He will. It's blocked. It's blocked, and it's picked up by Gold's David Johnson from Evangel Christian. Caught the ball after it was deflected and will get it down at the 24-yard line. A huge moment for Gold.
Momentum shift. Yeah, as you see, as he blocks it, Weems has to go back for it on that one. Able to get it off, but it is blocked and picked up by Johnson as the ball is down to the 24-yard line. So if you're the Gold offense and Mishlak, you got to get the ball in the end zone. It's got to make it a 21-10 game because at that point you're able to score 2 more times. You got plenty of time. You still got all your timeouts going into the 4th quarter. So you really got to get this ball in the end zone. Utilize guys that have been doing it. Cade Atkinson has come on late in this game, along with Tatum has come along as well. So you really want to try to get those guys going. Also, Meadows has also come on late. So look for those guys to try to make a big difference in this one.
I'll hand it off again. Atkinson trying to weave out of a tackle. He did the first one and the second one. Finally wrapped up by the legs on the 3rd tackle. A great effort by Cole Brancotti to bring down Atkinson.
Atkinson, slippery dude, man. Slippery dude. Is able to break a lot of tackles and make a lot of big plays. So really excited to see him. As Spencer's just rearranging everything right now.
You're working a filthy mess, man. You got big chip bags over
I
here.
have 2 chip bags and 1 sandwich.
And a tea,
your
on the
teacup is up here, too. I don't even want to hear it.
I was trying to move the game board closer. Scott Stafford had to step aside, so I'm running the scoreboard and laptop here. As this will be carried by Gold's Liam Watson from the Cabarrus Stallions, and he won't get more than a couple of yards gain on the play there. Notice how we can transition from a little bit of I don't want to hear it to immediately going into the game.
Because we're professionals.
Of course. Right now it looks like the story of the game here for the Rising Stars Gold team in that they get in these good situations with defensive stands and Navy's defense is just shutting down the door. It's a big reason why they've only scored 3 points.
Absolutely. They've stopped the run game entirely as we are going to get a timeout.
That is early on for Gold to burn one of their timeouts, especially getting down the stretch. But 5:23 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Navy leads 21-3. 2 timeouts left for Gold to work with as you got Michalak with the pass. It's incomplete. Had it intended to the left side to Jax Metters, and that brings up a 4th down from the 29-yard line.
And at this point, you got no choice but to go for it, but they are going to bring the field goal team out to try to make this a 21-6 game. You would still have to score 2 touchdowns and perhaps go for a 2-point conversion to try to take the lead.
If you look at it in field goals, it's a 6-possession game. But if you look at it on the touchdown side, which they haven't been able to get into the end zone at all today.
You got to be really technical, don't you?
Sometimes. Second field goal attempt for the day from distance. About the same distance from last time, and it's a muff snap. And he's going to keep it. That's going to be kept there and trying to push through. Again, Register tried to get the first down yards. You got a decent amount of it back, but that'll turn the ball over on downs, and Navy will take over on their own 21-yard line.
Yeah, and just kind of a botched snap there is able to make up for it and just try to get what he can. Still is pushing this Navy offense kind of back a little bit, but looks like this Navy offense is going to come back onto the field and try to take a 28-3 lead.
Trend we've seen throughout this game. Navy just gets the ball deep in their own territory, drives it down the field 70, 80 yards, and even if they don't come away with a score, they're still chunking a lot of time away.
Yeah, chunking a lot of time away. You got 5 minutes left on the clock. Wouldn't be surprised if they just took this thing all the way down to the 4th quarter, the way they've been able to move the ball with the run game and everything. But, again, when you got a guy like C.J. Barnes, as they got Dejon O'Neal in the game right now.
Toss on the right side, yards after contact coming up here for the Navy player on Dejon O'Neal. Great effort for him to push through and get 7 yards.
And I was talking to his coach, Coach Smith, yesterday, and Dejon O'Neal actually playing in the game right after this as well, playing in the 8-man upperclassman game as well. Needed a little bit more depth there. So a lot of these guys are actually playing in 2 games today. They're actually on 2 rosters.
Yeah, same with Dylan Plate, the freshman for Gatlinburg Pittman Highlanders. He's playing in one of the upper-class games later today. You have it happen several times over the years as O'Neal tries to find the seam and couldn't get it there. It's brought down at the 25. Actually, they will rule forward progress right about at the line of scrimmage to bring up a 3rd and 3, which give credit at least to the Gold defense. They're making stops when they have to. It was just they allowed away those first 2 touchdowns and then special teams with the punt return.
Yeah, and they've been able to shut them down for the most part in the 2nd quarter and able to shut them down right now. But with that C.J. Barnes punt return, it kind of broke this game wide open at that point. Barnes able to do it all. Does Barnes have all 3 touchdowns for them today? I believe he does.
Yep. Toss right side, looking for the pass incomplete. The ball was short, looking for the tight end Bowers, and 4th and 3 for Navy.
Yeah, we're going to get another punt here by this Navy team. So if you're Gold, you got to get the ball into the end zone. You still haven't been able to convert on 3rd and 4th down and try to get that ball into the end zone. So you really got to focus, take your time, get down there. You don't have to rush things, and just try to stay on pace and try to get the ball in the end zone.
We saw a blocked punt on this last attempted punt. It was due to a high snap. No problem with the high snap this time, but here's some danger on the return here for Asher Evans from Trinity Christian. Gets a couple good yards on the return, and they'll start at the 32-yard line in Navy territory. You try not to call games early, and you try not to say it's too little, too late. Or even we try not to jinx it in saying that teams have to score in certain situations. But with the way Navy has been controlling the ball and controlling the tempo of the clock, that feels like Gold needs some sort of spark here. And I don't think a field goal is the answer.
Gesundheit.
It wouldn't be the All-American Bowl if something didn't happen.
Oh, for sure. Well, let's see what the Gold offense can do here.
Gonna motion him out.
They motioned out there, and another carry by Liam Watson. Gets over to the left side, and we'll get up to about the 27-yard line, 2nd and 5.
These coaches really coaching like it's the regular season right now. So it's trying to get these guys in order, trying to get them to do their jobs, do their assignments. So these kids are putting in a lot of effort right now, but these coaches are too, Spence.
Under 3 minutes left to go in this third quarter. They'll hand it off again. Not even a chance. Immediately met by Navy's 58.
I believe that was 50, Malachi Adams. Or was it 58? It was 50.
Yeah, Malachi Adams, who had 86 tackles on the year, 72 of them on his own. Got a tackle for loss there, did the sophomore out of Cornerstone Christian.
Yeah, big another guy that I was talking about earlier that I wanted to see. And like I said, I was on the field, and that's a big boy right there doing it all right now, coming off the edge, able to make a big stop for that Navy team right now.
Third down and 8 with the loss. Trying to make something happen here. Michalak, that is a catch. That's completed to Jax Metters on the 20-yard line.
Oh, we need a replay of that.
One of the first big catch plays of the day. Great move by Metters. My guess is that our replay software had some issues on that one. That was a great catch there by Metters. For those of you on YouTube, you can certainly scrub back and watch it. Inside the red zone.
Yeah, and they're able to get back in the red zone again. Now you just got to capitalize on this. Going with the two-back side again.
And they'll go the same formation. Watson to the left side is going to be tripped up by Asa Price at about the 17.
Yeah, and Liam Watson able to bounce outside on that one, try to get a little bit going. They've really stayed with the run game again. They've really stayed with the run game, and it's now starting to pay off a little bit, able to get that chunky yardage, keep on pace. But the run game, as every football knower knows, that runs the clock. You got to keep going. You got to have 3 scores. You can't take your time with the run game. You can't get into desperation situations down the pipe.
Especially with Gold burning one of their timeouts earlier in this quarter, being down by as much as they are at 18.
Going with the stack up top.
Quick sling, right side, catch made. That's Metters. Metters will get a loss of 3 on the play, catching it behind the line of scrimmage. It does stop the clock at 33 seconds, but you have a loss on the play there for about a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, and another desperation time if you're Gold, because you haven't been able to capitalize down here. You've been inside of the 23 times, and you've only come away with 3 points on 3 or 4 possessions. So you really got to try at least to try to get into the end zone at least one time. This Navy offense has just been too dominant right now and has really been taking control of the clock. So you really got to focus. It's 4-down territory from here on out, I believe.
3rd and 9. Michalak to the end zone on the left side, overthrew his intended target of Metters. Jax Metters has really been who he's been tasked to do all game.
Yeah, Jax Metters right there on the corner route trying to hit him on that one. Michalak just kind of sailed that one a little bit too much, and they are going to bring the field goal unit out right now. But again, just trying to hit him on the corner route. Really hard throw to make. Trying to aim it to that back pylon on that corner route, like I just said. But again, another trip inside the red zone comes up empty, potentially giving this field goal right here.
Like we mentioned heading into this drive, or at least I did, saying I don't know if a field goal is necessarily the answer, but certainly you have to get points where you can.
But again, it's an all-star game.
Oh, for sure.
We're just out here having fun, man.
Here's Cody Register. Another line drive. And it's no good, wide left. So 21-3 with about 29.6 left to go in this third quarter. That'll turn it over on downs. And Navy will maybe get a snap or two here before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, and they're probably just going to try to run the ball to kind of just bleed this clock out. They got a lead. Just take your time. Again, just kind of march down the field. You've been able to do it at will. Don't put yourself in positions to potentially turn the ball over or set Gold up in a good field position. But both these teams have battled today on defense, really. I mean, given the first two opening touchdowns by C.J. Barnes and then the punt return, this Gold defense has really stayed strong throughout the game, just had a few mistakes that cost them points.
They'll hand it off. Left side carry, Kyrie Wilson. And we'll lose about a yard on the play, and that will likely take us to the end of the third quarter. And it's looking like a case. You got both teams heading to their respective sidelines. 3 quarters down, 1 more to go in the 2024 Rising Stars game. Combination of 8-man and 11-man football players on this field. And the team in Navy is leading Gold 21-3. We'll be right back. Quarter number 4 underway here in the Smoky Mountains, and it's a scramble on the right side, trying to find some space for the carry. It's C.J. Barnes, who got a chunk gain of 7 yards for the first play of the fourth quarter.
I would love to see his stat line right now. He's been doing a little bit of everything on special teams, offense, and defense for this Navy offense. This Navy team really has had a big game today. In the passing game and the running game, he had a few jet sweep plays that really worked out for them as well. So really has really been a big part of this team today.
Actually gained 6 there for a 3rd and 4 and a high step, even though there's no one around him to high step with. It was just Canary going to the right side on the carry and get a gain of maybe a yard or 2.
He's been able to show his running ability a little bit today, making a couple people miss. Really athletic kid in Cranier, able to not only be very good in the passing game, but also in the running game too. So if I'm Christ Preparatory Academy, I'm looking at those legs, licking my chops right now, thinking to get that quarterback run going with the 10th grader still having 2 more years left after his sophomore campaign ends today.
Again, remember with this Rising Stars game, get that after this play, is a carry up for the first down on the 4th down. And Navy converts it there to keep the ball rolling. But keep in mind with this Rising Stars game, you got freshmen, you got 8th graders, you have sophomores, not a single junior or senior on this field. So especially with the stars that we've seen who have shown up throughout the entire morning, got a very positive sign heading into the remainder of the second half of their high school football careers.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, as we all know, schools like Christ Prep, Evangel, Georgia Force, KC East, East Central, Tri-Cities, they just churn out talent. They just have talent all over the board, and we're seeing a lot of their young talent. We're going to see a lot of their guys who are going to be on their way out later today from their respective schools. But these guys have really been really good today and all season long, and that's why they're here today in Gatlinburg.
Canary tried to spin out of a couple tackles there. He gets a gain to the 30, looks like about the 37-yard line to bring up a 2nd and 6. Got any early picks for most valuable player in this one?
C.J. Barnes? Anybody? C.J. Barnes?
I don't think it's much of a question. He's pretty much the only one who scored throughout the whole game, all 3 touchdowns.
You could argue Canary because just the way he's been able to sling the ball around and use his legs. You could argue that. You could argue Kyrie Wilson. But C.J. Barnes has kind of been the guy today.
Good catch by Jordan Brown, the freshman from Tri-Cities Christian out of Bluntville, Tennessee. Got the catch over, and he brought down at about the 41-yard line. How about the season the Tri-Cities had, too? Going to initially they were going to go to the playoff game. School chose not to go to the SEEK playoffs, and then were originally planning to go down to Florida. Ended up not going, but great performance on the regular season for Tri-Cities Christian and all that they were able to do out in East Tennessee.
Yeah, we saw them dominate here in August against the Augusta Eagles. Coach Boskin and his group really doing a great job.
Here's Kyrie Wilson doing a really great job weaving around tackles to get to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and like we were saying, we saw Coach Boskin and his group here back in August against the Augusta Eagles put up 70 points in that game, and then just kind of ran through. As we are going to get a replay here from the young man inside zone, Wilson's able to make a really good cut right there, able to bounce off a few tacklers and get just inside the 50. But like we were saying earlier, Tri-Cities Christian had a really good year this year, able to dominate throughout. They play a lot of South Carolina teams, able to win a lot of those games along with their respective SEEK conference games. So the future is bright for Tri-Cities.
Future bright for all the players here on this field, as we've seen throughout the day, as Canary keeps the ball to the 45-yard line for a loss of 1. I was hearing a whistle from up here in the press box. I couldn't tell if it was if the officials. Looked like it was somebody else who was just using an artificial whistle in stadium. The clock continues to run. Reminder for you all, we've got 4 games left on the day. Then they're going to be simulcast, 2-on-2. 1 p.m., the 11-man upperclass game and the 8-man upperclass game, both those occurring here on the 8-Man Extreme YouTube channel. That dump-off pass does not really
to Bowers,
go anywhere. Bowers again. They tried to get to him all day, too, but it looks like we've got a flag on the far side. They got a illegal formation on the offense, and the penalty is declined. And that'll bring up, I believe, 2nd down. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern, we've got the upper class games for both 8-man and 11-man football, and 4 p.m. Eastern, the 8-man seniors game and the juniors game, both occurring here on 8-Man Extreme, at least on the broadcast side. Both games occurring here at the respective fields at Rocky Top Sports World. And manages to get free, does Justin Crenary, and
yeah, I think he got it.
Probably got the first down there. It looks like they'll spot him a yard short at the 35, but a great maneuver by Justice Crenary.
Yeah, Justice Crenary, again, like we've been saying all game long, has been able to utilize his legs a lot and is able to pick up a good gain there to set up a 4th and short. See if they get it as a quarterback sneak.
On the sneak, he got it. Moved it up forward for a couple of yards for no doubt. 1st and 10 at the 31.
Yeah, you just got to kind of keep that clock ticking. Keep that clock ticking. Keep that thing going. So you really want to try to get that thing going. Clock is now just under 10 minutes. So you really want to try to not let the Gold comeback. Right now, it seems like Navy has had this one pretty well in hand. So just trying to get that ball in the end zone again for another score, and then you can probably start thinking about just kind of letting up just a little bit.
Lob pass in the backfield to O'Neal, who tries to weave through and successfully does. Here goes O'Neal. O'Neal with a potential breakaway. One man to beat. O'Neal to the 5-yard line. Finally shoved out of bounds by A.J. Knowles.
Yeah, and Dejon O'Neal able to make things happen on that one if we're able to get a replay. Yeah, Dejon O'Neal with a toss out, able to cut back across the grain and just kind of swerve in and out and able to get down inside the 5-yard line for a big play for this Navy offense, as Dejon O'Neal has been a big part of this team already. Kind of showed up late in the second quarter and is now doing big things here late in this one.
And Navy trying to punch it in again, and he'll have a carry on the inside, and it's another touchdown for Navy. Kyrie Wilson, now someone other than C.J. Barnes, has the touchdown.
Yeah, Kyrie Wilson has also been a very good player for them today, able to run the ball and able to catch the ball out in the flat. Has also been able to do some things on defense as well, as they're going to go with that power formation, as he's able to run to the right, cut back to the left. He's able to get in for an easy score to make this thing 27-3, given the next extra point.
They'll give Weems another opportunity to get an extra point here. And Weems will go up for it, and it looked good from here. That goes
redemption
onto the roof of the locker room for Gatlinburg Pittman High School and made both of his extra points. Missed the 2 field goal attempts earlier. 28-3, 9:16 left to go here in regulation. Navy leading by 25. And they'll boot this for a kickoff return. It started at about the 18-yard line, and is there maybe something going down here? Not on that kickoff return. Adrian Tantum Jr. had a decent, about a 10, 15-yard return up to the 35-yard line, and we'll see if Gold can make something of this drive as they're down by 25.
Yeah, and try to get to the end zone. They've been inside the red zone 3 to 4 times. And able to punch it in. It's now 28-3. This game is well in hand. But, again, you just want to try to get guys into the game. That's what it's all about. Get the guys who have been invited here into the game, get them some good experience, get them ready for next year as well with the 2025 season just on the horizon after today. So you want to get these guys in the ball game, get them involved, and maybe sling the ball around a little bit, see what can happen.
First down and 10, and tackle for loss. Great move by Richie Maxwell, the freshman from the Southside Christian Sabres, on the tackle for loss.
Yeah, Richie Maxwell's been all over the field today. He's had several sacks already, and he's also had a lot of key stops, kind of stopping that running back in their tracks all game long. Every time a goal player has the ball in their hands, he's right there, and he's been super physical all game long. So Maxwell has been a really big key part of this team today.
There's a right side carry trying to spin out of the tackle is Liam Watson. He's not really going to get anywhere. And I know we just talked to Andrew Capps a moment ago about the players they're about to honor for like all offense, defense, and MVP. So you'll get to those in a second. But there are a lot of names on this roster that we didn't get to mention, and there are a lot of players that you get to see on the respective sidelines, and including the offensive and defensive linemen. You don't call their names as much unless they make a tackle for a loss or a sack. And
can I shout some of those guys out right now? Yeah. So Ty McCurry out of the Atlas Rattlers out of Fort Worth, Texas, has had a great game today, along with Jake Ferguson of the Augusta Eagles, Walter Patrick out of the Cabarrus, Grant Goodman has had a lot of key stops today for this gold team, along with Jackson Loudon of Evangel, and Cody Register has kind of been doing it all on the offense, defensive, and special team side, along with James Wolf out of Evangel. And then on the Navy side, you have Elijah Graham of the Columbus Crusaders out of Galena, Ohio, and then Connor Riley out of Windsor Academy in Macon, Georgia. He had 18 tackles on the year, and Graham had 14 tackles on the year. And then along with Pryor Davidson out of Lakeway Christian, Morristown, Tennessee. And we've called Richie Maxwell's name a ton today, along with Brewer Larkin out of Russell Christian is a guy that we're starting to hear his name a little bit more and more as his high school career grows, along with Connor Price out of Georgia School for Innovation and Classics. And I have a long list here. I'm like Liam Blutman out of Barstool Sports. You got Skylar Hobson and Lakeway Christian.
Did you say out of Barstool Sports?
I did. I brought Barstool to Gatlinburg.
There's a catch there by Will Sunderland, the backside, and it's going to get a decent amount of gains back from the false start.
I have two more. Zeke Yeager out of Tuscaloosa Christian, and then Ollie Rusher out of Christ Prep is also another guy. Those two guys have done really well today.
Yeah, a lot of well-deserving honors in terms of the rising stars for players getting here and such. But
you got to give some love to the big guys. You got to give some love to the big guys.
And Andrew Capps just told us who the offensive, defensive, and overall MVPs are for this game.
Oh, you want me to reveal those or just leave those? Well, I'm not.
You can do what you want. I mean, it might be good to tell everybody
what
about
are the requirements for this? So yeah, we've seen a lot of great players today. Defensively, we've brought up Richie Maxwell's name a lot. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Cenari's been really good today. He's probably going to take away that offensive player of the game. And then MVP, we've called his name a ton as well, doing on offense, defense. TJ Barnes has done a great job today, so he's most likely going to get that MVP award. So all going to be on the Navy team today. But give credit to this gold team. They fought hard today. Atkinson's done really well for him, Tatum. And Michalak has done a really good job commanding the offense. So if you're the gold team, you got nothing to hang your head about. But, again, this is not a game that counts toward the season. You're here to make friendships, learn from all these great coaches, get a great vacation, great trip out here in the Smoky Mountains of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So a lot of these guys we're going to see again next December. We're also going to see some of these guys in August, given that their teams do come back here in August for the Black Bear Brawl.
Why do I have a feeling that James is going to say Cody Register was robbed of a special teams award?
Because James is not a ball knower. He's not a ball knower. James and Brendan both are not ball knowers. They only have love for their big boys.
Yeah, well, and more so, he has a love for field goals and seeing those in high school football as well. Because that was Register making that one field goal, the only score so far of the game for gold.
He's going to walk up from the lower field down there, see 28-3, and be like, all right, we got one today.
Final 5 minutes and 44 seconds begin to tick down. A good dump pass across the middle to Nolan Bowers. We've been calling his name a decent amount throughout the day. He's been targeting a lot more. The sophomore from Lakeway Christian out of Morristown, Tennessee.
Yeah, just hitting him on the seam route right there, able to rumble down for another first down. Nolan Bowers has kind of been their little chunk play guy right now, hit him in the flat and the seam. So Bowers has done a really good job today. Just kind of get things going. The sophomore out of Lakeway Christian, like you just said, he's been doing a really good job today catching the ball from their quarterback. Another guy I want to see is Isaiah Kuckle. I want to see if he's able to do something here at the end.
I wonder if he's able to. That's a name that we haven't seen.
We haven't seen his name a lot, but I sure knew his name back in September.
Oh, yeah.
Had Isaiah Kuckle had, I believe, 2 touchdowns against us and a pick 6. So you can't take anything away from that young man. He's done a really good job throughout his high school career, and it's just getting started for him.
Brings up now about a 2nd down and 7. Navy just trying to run out the clock here, just keep the ball rolling. Actually, they're going to pass it as Kreinier tosses it, and a catch made by Benjamin Nelson from the Kansas City East Lions, and that will move the chains for a first down and keep things rolling. And again, we've got a lot of great games that are coming up today, and certainly with the rising stars, this is another one of those where it's, again, you're here to learn from the coaches, you're here to have fun, and this is also one of those where you're either side. It's also a kind of learning point, especially to be able to do this in early on in your career. For high school football, you get a chance to learn what it's like to be on the winning side or the losing side, whichever team you look at, and it also gives them a chance to correct mistakes. And as this carry goes up the middle, that's Benjamin Nelson, and they'll continue to run it as we essentially wrap things up here in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah, and these guys have had a great opportunity to learn under a bunch of great coaches today, this weekend actually, I'm sorry, and learn a lot of good things, get a lot of things fixed that maybe they didn't get fixed during the regular season and their postseason. So these young guys have learned a lot this weekend. Hopefully they take it into the 2025 season. It's hard to believe that we're already on the horizon of 2025. It feels like yesterday we were calling the 2023, our first Gatlinburg All-American Bowl together over 3 years ago. 2022. Time's been flying, Spencer, but we've been doing this for, 4 years now, I believe? Together at least 4 years? 3 to 4?
We called a game together in 2022 in Gatlinburg.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I have slept since then.
Yeah, you have slept a lot.
Yeah, it's good to change. Not as much leading into these games today, unfortunately, but
We called the seniors game together.
yeah, that's right. We called that was senior games. I think that was 2022. That was where that was year 2 of year 3 of Rocky Top Sports World when they took over the All-American game and started developing it more, and they added more games because they tried to have just the 8-man and 11-man. Then they realized we got so many great players. It's hard to say no to some people, and that's why they've also have 5 games this year, because that's where the challenge comes in of where do you decline people in a way, or where do you say, well, we can't have you come to this game when you got people who have just as good of stats, if not equitable, for the right to be in Gatlinburg.
And I think the greatest thing that's coming out of this event is we're learning about new teams that no one even knew about.
Oh, for sure. And there's one thing you never like to see in an all-star game. The good news is he's up, but it's unfortunate that he's having to be helped off by his teammates for Navy. That's Isaiah Kokolo, who we were just talking about how great he was, and you'd hate to see that. But long off season for the freshman to recover.
Yeah, long off season. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But like I said, we really learn a lot about a lot of new teams that we've never heard of before, bringing their guys, inviting their guys here to the All-American game. So a lot of these programs are really getting a lot of great marketing this weekend.
As Nelson will go up the middle as things begin to wind down, and we got a timeout called by Gold. I believe this is the time where they're going to call these timeouts so that they can rotate more of their players in and get more personnel so that everybody gets some more snaps in the final games of their seasons. You'll certainly see that in the seniors games later on this afternoon, as you'll have it down the stretch, depending on, regardless of whether the score is, they'll rotate guys in and get them all to rotate around. So 28-3, 1:44 left to go in the game. Things just wrapping up here.
Any players you're excited to see?
You're going to be going down to the lower field. So
I'm abandoning you.
I wish I could see some of your guys or your players of the Tennessee Tigers that are on that field, but I'll be up here
I
for the
appreciate
11-man
it,
game.
I appreciate it.
But I'm excited for this matchup.
Oh, you get lucky with this roster right here.
We got the 8-man seniors game up here on the main field between Team Courage and Glory, and
that's stacked.
Yeah, you got players from the Freedom, Pack Panthers, Tri-Cities. It's going to be a fun one, at least for us up here in the.
So you're going to have a roster completely with 3 out of the 4 teams that were in Florida.
Florida,
lucky duck.
And I got another timeout called here as At least a 1:32 left. I believe Gold called their final timeout of the game. And takes us down to 1:32 left. But just, again, stacked roster all around in pretty much most of the games that you look at. And it's unfortunate you won't be able to be here on the main field with us because you'll be down calling that.
I'll be calling for my own guys down there,
Yep.
you know? Yeah, we're going to be it's really cool. This is the first year that I've actually had my own guys here participating in the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl. So really excited. Was able to watch them throughout practice this week. They're going to be under Coach Smith from East Central. So they've made a lot of good friendships this week, and that's what it's all about. You want to see your kids make lifelong friendships and learn from other great coaches. And the other thing I'll say is there's a lot of coaches here. This is kind of like a little coaching convention. But the way that these coaches are just letting the actual coaches involved in this event today, just kind of let them do their thing, just kind of step to the side and just also learn as well has also been kind of great. And just gaining knowledge from all these great coaches as well has been really cool.
James and Eli will have the call of that lower field game. And only lower just in terms of elevation, not in terms of marquee matchup or anything like that. Benjamin Nelson catches it across. So James and Eli will have the call for that 8-man upper class game here at 1 p.m. Eastern. Scott Stafford and Brendan Daniel will have the call for the 11-man upper class game here on the main field at 1 o'clock. Then 8-man seniors game here on the
You're
main
about
field.
to get a crash course about offensive linemen from Brendan Daniel. I already know.
Well, Scott will. I mean, I'll be on the producer side of things.
Oh, I'm very sure. I was talking about the audience itself is
We're-
going to get a crash course.
We were talking about that last night in the production meeting. We said how many times are we going to hear Brendan say the battle in the
what
trenches?
was the spread? 10?
Was
that the spread?
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
I think Jack took the money line too.
Oh goodness. But James and you and James will have the call for that 4 p.m. juniors game on the lower field, and then Blake Biggs and I will have the call. Excited to work with Blake again. It's been a little bit. Worked with him at the CFA championship as.
I haven't seen Blake at all today.
Yeah,
he is.
He's been running around. Yeah, he's been running around doing other things, helping James with setup and everything. So. But 28-3, Navy called its timeout, and funny enough, we have a team named Navy on this field. Today's the Army-Navy game.
Yeah,
that's going on. And
Navy's about to get dominated by Bryson Daly in that.
Hold
on. I got to do a full breakdown of that game. You have Army coming in 10-1. You have Navy coming in 11-1. You have Navy coming in 10-2. You have the Heisman candidate Bryson Daly coming in. The great tradition of the Army-Navy game. I'm taking Army over Navy, 21-17. There's my Pat McAfee for the day.
All I was going to say was that how fitting is it as well, Army-Navy games today and Wounded Warrior Project is in essence supporting this whole weekend as they have a punt there. The clock's not running. Yeah, they didn't run the clock at all on that punt.
Oh,
and the scoreboard just flickered. Are we gonna have technical issues with the game going over? Is that how we're gonna end this today?
James, did you trip on a cord or something?
With the amount of running around he's been doing between the two fields and everything,
Hold on, I have to check my spread. We're an hour away from hitting that one.
We're about 45 minutes separated between the next set of games starting out here in Gatlinburg, so make sure you stick around with us here on 8-Man Extreme. Make sure you do a split screen between the two upper-class games at 1 p.m. as well. So should be a lot of fun. And Gold is going to get their final snaps out here. Toss across the middle. It's incomplete. Pass intended for Jax Metters. And gets us up to 33 seconds. So Eli Cornett had to step aside. Brendan Daniel is now on the headset. Brendan, we're not working together on any of these games here other than you running camera and such. So
sadly.
Is there anything you want to tell me about this game that's impressed you?
Brother, I didn't even get to watch it. I was down on the other field trying to set everything up for you.
I teed you up for your usual quote, so I'm glad you didn't hit the
No,
over-under on that
no.
kind of stuff. So, but
Y'all are going to have to wait till the next couple of games to get that from me.
what excites you about this next 11-man game you and Scott are about to call?
Man, I'm just excited to see these seniors and juniors play, man. I know for some of these guys, it's their last opportunity. Ooh, good pick.
Third turnover of the game, and it's an interception. Who better to end it than C.J. Barnes, but you hate to see that he is down on the field right now taking his helmet off.
Yeah, he kind of landed wrong on that helmet, and I'm sure it's got to be a concussion. I'm sorry for the guy.
Yeah, you hate that, especially at the end of the game. Again, a long off season to recover, but wishing all the best for C.J. Barnes at the end there. And medical staff is going to tend to him. You hate it, especially with the amount of time left on the clock at 25.2 in the game. And they're going to look at C.J. Barnes, and we will step aside here in Gatlinburg. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, the officials have ordered that the clock is going to be wound. They have called ball game, and unfortunately, C.J. Barnes is still being tended to on the field right now. And it looks like they just lifted him up. And they are carrying him on both sides, but the officials wound the clock and said ball game, all things considered, with the game in essence being over. And that is going to do it. The Navy team for Rising Stars victorious over Gold, 28-3, the final score here in this first game of the 2024 Gatlinburg All-American Bowls. And you're going to get the presentation for the MVPs in a moment. We'll get those captured for you here, and certainly not much of a surprise on the ones that were listed earlier from Eli Cornett. Hey, speaking of which, you can see him down on the field right now. He's going down there to get photos with you. He's about to go call that game at 1 o'clock, so making sure he gets a chance to take some photos for the Southeastern Extreme Conference so that they can, that and get those photos promoted and everything. So he's getting those taken care of.
Giving the young DB some love there on that pick he got.
Oh, yeah. They'll do the trophy presentations here, the MVP award in just a moment. Andrew Capps, director for the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl games, down on the field now. Always a fun time getting around to this time of year. Post-game meeting happening with the teams. They'll have their post-game prayer, final thoughts for those rising stars before they head into the off-season for high school football. And we'll get the announcements here in stadium for the MVPs for the game in a few moments. Actually, looks like they're going to get some team photos and everything.
All right, folks, it's time to give out some individual awards for today's game. Up first, your offensive lineman, the Hambone Offensive Line MVP, number 72 from Christ Prep, Ollie Rusher.
Yeah, Ollie Rusher, the offensive line most valuable player for the game.
Your defensive player of
Richie Maxwell given the honor on the defensive side.
number 52, Richie Maxwell. Your offensive player of the game with some electric plays from the pocket, coming from Christ Prep, number 5, Justice Grenier.
Justice Grenier given the offensive MVP, and then overall, not really much of a doubt on this one. Scored 3 of the touchdowns of the game. One of them on a punt return, 2 of them on passes.
Touchdowns and an interception on the day, number 1,
CJ Barnes. And so unfortunately, he's still being evaluated right now on the sideline with concussion protocols, and given the award, wishing him all the best as he's evaluated. So that is going to wrap it up for the Rising Stars game here in Gatlinburg. We still have a lot of football to go left on the day. The 11-man upper class and 8-man upper class games start here at 1 Eastern. For Eli Cornett, Brendan Daniel, our producer Scott Stafford, director Jack Elwig, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly, I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Gatlinburg. Stick around for the games to come, but the Navy team in the Rising Stars game victorious over Gold 28-3.